tying up another Carrie Stevens streamer today. This is one of the few Bucktail streamers that she's done. This is the F.R.S. Fancy, which is the brother and or sister, depending on how you look at it, to the F.R.S. Special, which is a video I did about a week ago. This one also has a simple tinsel body to it, and it has the underbelly of white on this one, but the wing on it is different. It is an orange and brown bucktail. Now, unrelated, I have found that here in the Midwest, a Clouser deep minnow tied in an orange and brown color similar to this is actually a very productive color in a number of our streams out here. So that is the F.R.S. Fancy. I'll get started tying. So I've already started the F.R.S. Fancy. The body on this is just a silver tinsel body. So just to expedite this a little bit, I've gone ahead and put the hook in the vise. I've attached my thread. For the thread here, this is a Danville 210 Denier in white. You don't have to use white if you don't want to, because it's just a tinsel body. I'm using the white simply because it's a larger diameter thread, which allows me to get from one end of the hook shank to the other. And this is just a base layer of thread to put down underneath that tinsel. So I'll go ahead and debarb the hook. Normally I would do this first. And then, like I said, I've got my base layer of thread, and I'll go ahead and put my tinsel on. For tinsel, I'm using a Danville silver and gold Mylar tinsel in a size 10. We want to make certain that you get a good 13-14 inches of this, because you don't want to run out as you're putting this on. I'm going to tie this up front here with the gold side up. That way, as I tie it in, it will flip over to the silver side. I should say as I wrap it in. I'm going to go ahead and wrap that, fold that over, and start to wrap that a little bit. Before I wrap that in, I'm going to put this is some Flex cement. I'm just going to put a small layer of Flex cement along the hook shank. It will do two things for me. It will help secure that tinsel. The tinsel has a lot of memory in it, this Mylar tinsel. And this will help to secure that down so that if on the way back with that tinsel I were to lose hold of the tinsel, it doesn't all come unraveled on me. At the same time, it also is going to reinforce it, so as this fly is being fished and that tinsel breaks, it all doesn't unravel, and then the rest of the fly is no good. So it helps your fly last a little bit longer. Now I'm just going to wrap that tinsel down all the way to the end and back up, putting a double layer of tinsel on there. I like to put in a double layer of tinsel on these flies because I think it just gives a more uniform silver look to it. You don't get any gaps or they get covered up with the second layer, and any gaps in the second layer have the silver underneath them. I think it just looks nicer. So with the silver tinsel tied in, I'm now going to tie in the belly. The underbelly is just some white bucktail. I've gone ahead and got some bucktail out and got this set up. You can stack this if you want, or if you don't want to, then you just want to try and even those up a little bit. I'm going to tie these in underneath. They're going to go back just a little bit past the bend of the hook. Trim away the excess. Bringing my white thread up to behind the eye of the hook because I'm going to change over to the orange thread. The head on the F.R.S. Fancy is a black head with an orange band. I have taken to doing the head in orange and then just applying the black bands afterward. Attaching that thread right behind the eye of the hook, I'll trap down the white thread and a tag of orange, and I can cut those off. Now we'll tie in the throat. Bring my thread all the way back down to where I tied in the underbelly, and we'll tie in the throat. The throat is just some white hackle. I'm using some white sloppin for this. We're going to tie in that first clump right where we tied in the bucktail there. And they want that going down about halfway down the belly. Wrap that in and move forward a little bit. Now I'm going to tie in the two other pieces. There's another, these go on the side, these other pieces kind of go on the side right in here and then right on this side. So they kind of flank it like this, and the idea is to kind of, as we're moving forward, to cover up some of those thread wraps. I'll tie this in on this side here, moving forward. Sometimes you have to use your thumbnail to kind of scooch those around just a little bit so that they come up around on the side and help cover up those thread wraps. Bring that over to the other side. I trapped one barb there. Now I'll tie in the last bit over on this side. Again, I'm going to use my thumbnail to kind of scooch some of that up just a little bit so we're kind of covering up some thread wraps. A lot of that's going to get covered up. Normally, if you had a hackle wing in there, a lot of that would get covered up with that. But since this is all bucktail, some of that head underneath shows. Same time, Carrie Stevens, when she tied these, she used white thread all the way up to when she finished the head. And I should probably start getting in the habit of doing that if I want to tie these to be more genuine to her recipes. I'm going to smooth this area off here, and then we'll be tying in our wing. And the wing on the F.R.S. Fancy is just some bucktail. In this case, it is some orange bucktail with a little bit of brown bucktail on top. Got my orange bucktail. Again, this I have stacked. I like this stacked because I just think it looks cleaner. I'm going to place this right on top, and it's going to go back the length of the belly. Secure that in. Trim away the excess. You want to kind of trim these at an angle so that you have a little, you use that bucktail to give you a little bit of a taper down towards the eye. Advance my thread forward to collect that down and smooth that off, make certain it's nice and secure. And then I'm going to tie in the brown bucktail. Again, I've already got some of this that I've stacked. You want to be sparse with this because you don't want a real big bushy wing on this. So whatever you want to, the density you want to have on that, remember you're going to split the orange and the brown about half and half. Collecting that down, I'll get a few wraps in to secure it, and again, I'm going to trim this at an angle. Now I'm going to clean all of this up, making the head of the fly. Now, a lot of times in these flies, the bucktail that is used is lower down on the tail towards the very bottom of it, not towards the tip, because the hair is straighter. Oops, broke my thread. The reason that you use the straighter hair is you just don't have as many, waves in there with that, the wavier hair near the tip of the bucktail. The problem is that you run into a situation, the hair that's closer to the rump, the base of the tail, tends to be wider diameter. And deer hair is, contrary to popular belief, it's not hollow, it's spongy. It has a lot of little air cells in it. And get my thread reattached here. And it will start to flare, just like the body hair. I mean, the hair in the tail is getting away from the tip closer to the body, so it gets more thicker diameter, and it tends to flare. So this right here, if I pull down really hard, it would flare this hair out. Well, I like to, after I get the head more or less shaped here, and trying to get as much, especially where that orange band is, covered up so there's no brown coming through. What I like to do, you'll notice I've left just a little bit right back here in the back where I haven't covered that up. I'm going to work my way back here, and when I get to this point, I'm going to start wrapping in, but I'm wrapping loose. This is just to collect the bucktail down. I'm not even really pulling on the thread. I'm going to wrap a few forward, and that just helps to keep it from flaring and keep it more or less just kind of riding straight back. You have to be careful when we put that black band in as well with this. A little bit of wax on my thread. Put my whip finish in. I'll trim away the orange thread. Now I'm going to attach my black thread. This is just a Danville 70 Denier in black. And here again, I'm just putting in the two black bands. If I put the black in and the orange on top, they blacken. You can see even with this brown underneath it, right around this area here, you can see even with a couple layers of thread over there, that brown is kind of darkening up that orange. That's why I had to put so much orange right in here to make certain it had a nice orange color and it wasn't getting darkened up. So if I had the black down first, that orange is going to get darkened up, and you don't want that. You want that to stay pronounced. So that's why I kind of reversed it. But as I said, Carrie Stevens tied hers with white all the way through until she was making the head. And I'll have to perfect that technique and start showing that. Here I'm just gently wrapping the black thread to cover up the orange. I don't want to flare that, so I'm not pulling. You just get that black band in. Make certain we're covering everything up. A little bit more up here. A little bit of wax on my thread. And then I'll trim away the black in the back there. It did flare just a little bit. Sometimes you can push that down just a little and bring that back in. Now, in the water, this is going to be swimming like this, and all of this will kind of be flattened out and narrower. Now I'm going to attach behind the eye of the hook, advance my thread rearward, secure the tag end of the black thread, cut away that, and then I'm just going to go rearward a little bit more. I want to get the front black band about as wide as the rear one and keeping that orange about the same width. I think some of her flies, the colored band is also narrower, not quite split up into thirds, but wax on my thread, and again I'll put in my whip finish. Turn away my thread. I'm going to put some fly tight head cement on this. That will soak down into those threads to secure the head of that. And I'll come back and put a couple layers of a clear lacquer on that to help reinforce and protect the threads. So there is the F.R.S. Fancy, brother and or sister of the F.R.S. Special. A couple of nice bucktail flies. Carrie didn't do that many bucktail flies, but these are a couple of noted ones. Got a couple of barbs here for this hackle that are sticking out. So that's the F.R.S. Fancy. Thanks for watching today. Thank you for joining me at the Vise today. I hope you learned a new pattern, at least a tip or trick here and there. If you'd like to help Dress Irons, you can like, comment, share, subscribe, all those wonderful things for the video. You can also head out to dressedirons.com where you can buy flies, tools, stickers, and merch, or you can join a growing community over on Locals at the Dressed Irons Fly Tying Guild. You can also donate to Dressed Irons if you want through the link at the bottom of the description. I thank everybody for their ongoing support, as it really does help the creation of these videos. But what's important is to remember, only fly tying. If you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong.